It's just too expensive.
Right.
So it's like everybody's now trying to create their solo businesses, whether it's solo practice or solo online business. And now we're saying, hey, we can just sell to other people. The difference is we don't have to sell just apples anymore.
Right.
Now we have tech. Now we have information. Now we have info edutainment. We have partnerships. And so we're starting the whole curve over again with all this ammo.
Right.
And I really believe that's what's happening. I believe that's what's happening. I believe that's why you feel empowered that, I can do this. You want to know why? Because we actually can.
Yeah.
You can in today's world. So here's what I would ask you. What would you tell someone that has been doing what they've been doing for about 25 plus years? There's a lot of people listening right now that's the case.
This is Secrets for Success.
Welcome to the Secrets for Success podcast. I'm your host, Greg Todd. Thank you as always for joining me. Today, as always, I have great guests on. I think this episode, for some reason, I really believe that this episode is going to talk to a lot of you. I believe it's going to inspire you. And I'm just really excited to have you on. I've been looking forward to this. Me and you have some really good conversations off camera, especially when you come down here. We really do. We had that good conversation yesterday at lunch. That was really good. Okay, anyways,
Yeah.
Jeanette Harris, welcome to the Secrets for Success podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Greg. I appreciate it.
So why don't you tell the people a little bit about who you are, how long you've been in the healthcare field, and then we'll kind of fast forward to what's going on today.
Okay. Well, I'm a physical therapist. I am from originally Rockville, Virginia, small rural town in Hanover County. I say it's where God lives, and everywhere else he visits.
Oh, wait. No. You can't just do that. Why is this area so amazing that God would want to reside there? And yeah.
Well, it's just country, and it's beautiful. It's quiet. You know, you can walk outside and hear crickets and still see fireflies. You know, deer coming through the field, and you know, you got to have a pole light. You don't have street lights.
Okay. It's that type of country.
Yeah,
All right. So that's where you
grew up.
Grew up, and is that where you still reside?
I live now about 2.5 hours away in Front Royal, Virginia, which is in the mountains in Shenandoah Valley. It's wine country.
Okay.
So it's I guess it's maybe even more beautiful. It's like where I grew up, but with mountains.
With mountains, okay.
And so, you know, it's known for Skyline Drive, Luray Caverns. People come up there to look at the leaves because I guess they don't have leaves at their house.
Right.
So they come from the city to look at these leaves.
Oh boy, you can tell she don't like the tourists. Okay.
Well, I mean, it's a little town, so all that traffic coming in for a minute is like, Lord, what back road I'm going to use. But no, I appreciate it because then it helps the small businesses in the town. And when I stop and look at the leaves, I can realize, or I recognize, like, wow, this is really beautiful.
Right.
This is really beautiful. It's peaceful. It's grounding, calming, all of that. So that's where I've been living for the last 7.5 years. Didn't plan to be there as long as I am, but I stay, I think, because of the mountains.
Yeah.
I never considered myself to be a mountain person or a mountain girl, and I actually live in the valley.
Okay.
So I got to kind of go over some mountains and get down into the valley.
Right.
We do get some snow, and it can be a little sketchy and treacherous at times. So I like to be down in the streets in the valley. But I stayed because at the time, the company that I was working for, I just made really good relationships with the staff, and we became like family friends and developed, you know, friendships and things in the area. And so it was, you know, it felt like family. It was the first place I'd been in a while, where I felt like it was a family.
Right.
And we would look out for each other. But I have since left that company and took another job in the area, literally down the street and around the corner. But I still stay because I still have those connections with, you know, my former patients, you know, the people I work with, and it's fairly close to the church that I attend. So I think that's why I still stay.
Gotcha. You've been a therapist for 30 years, correct?
30 years.
All right.
My joke is I started when I was 10, but now I moved it up. I started when I was 12.
Love it. Love it. All right. So let me ask you something. I told you this off camera that my client base, the age range has changed. When I initially started doing SSPT, is what a Smart Success for Physical Therapists, my avatar was a 28 to 30-year-old male. And I called that person Calvin because Calvin was my first ever client.
Oh, okay.
And Calvin lived in Southern Georgia, and he was a therapist for just a few years. He had spent a lot of money to become a physical therapist, a doctor of physical therapy. He was disappointed in that the things that was promised to him as a doctor of physical therapy to make this very sizable investment, he wasn't getting what they sold to him. And he was 6 to 8 years out of school, and he was now questioning his path, if this is the path that they want to stay on. So that's who my avatar was in 2015, 2016.
Okay.
So now we're here in the end of 2024 as we're recording this.
Right.
That avatar has changed. My avatar today is primarily female. And my avatar today is females, usually 50 and above. Okay. And so I say that because something has obviously changed in the marketplace. I mean, I'm still Greg. I haven't had any type of change, I don't think. But I'm attracting a different group of people over the last couple of years. Can you tell me, you've been a therapist for 30 years, how have things changed?
Wow, that's a lot to kind of unpack, but I'll try to look at, So when I started years ago, it was, very glamorous, and we weren't even doctors then. So when I became a therapist, it was the BS program transitioning into a master's program. So that was like the top of the scale then. And we were still trying to have to kind of fight our way in the marketplace as being recognized as practitioners and not, glorified massage therapists. Not that that's any, shade or disrespect against them, but just trying to get that respect from the medical community as independent thinkers and practitioners. And sometimes that's still a little bit of a challenge, but not as much as it used to be. So back then, it didn't seem to be as much of a fight with the insurance piece of it as it is now. We used to talk about the good old days when we could just seem like we could treat a patient forever. I remember back in the day, total knees and total hip patients would be in the hospital for like 6 weeks for like rehab, and now I'm in and out in a day. But we felt like we had a lot of stability, and this is great, and we're here to stay. And then right around 1997, managed care kicked in, and the market kind of fell and crashed, and people were getting out of the field. I remember one of my classmates, he just stopped and went to med school. He said, "Screw this! You wouldn't be a doctor." But
You started to become a therapist in 1994. Is that correct?
Actually, my journey started late 80s.
Late 80s.
And then, but I graduated in 1995. Had some starts and stops along the way.
All right. Okay. Let's talk about this because I started PT school in 97.
Okay.
Okay. And you became a physical therapist in 95.
Right.
Correct? All right. So I hope you all are hearing this as we're talking about this. 1997, Clinton comes in power. And, well, he came in power in 96, right? And actually in 92, right? And it's the second term now.
Yes.
And the Balanced Budget Act hits.
Yes.
And that changed everything for us. So there was a time, y'all listen up, there was a time where you could see a total knee replacement for a year.
Pretty much.
Or more,
Yeah.
right? Medicare would allow you to see people unlimited. There wasn't all these restrictions, this, that, da. So there were a lot of people that were flooding into the allied health market, becoming physical therapists. I thought when I came out of school, I thought I was going to make $80K. I thought I was going to make $80K. I thought that I would have the ability. This is back in 2000, yo. I thought I'd have the ability to travel. I thought they told me that I could become a travel therapist. They would pay for my rent. They pay for my housing. They pay for my car. They pay for this. They pay for that. And I was making $85,000. Now, just remember this. Back then, we didn't have the inflation that we have today.
Right.
So back then, you can get an apartment I'm talking a nice apartment, a hooked up apartment for $600 to $800.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can get an apartment for $600-$800. My car, I had a 95 Toyota Corolla. I brought it brand new in 95. I paid $10,200 for it. Right? You guys following this? Like this is what it was back then. So when Jeanette graduated in 1995, she was in the heyday, even though we didn't know it was the heyday. We just thought it is what it is, right? Okay. But the Balanced Budget Act hits. We have lots of debt in our country, and Clinton says, "Hey, I'm gonna get rid of that debt." And by the way, he actually did, but we had to take the grunt of it.
We did.
And so, over the years, have you noticed a difference?
I noticed our salaries, I feel like, have not increased with the cost of inflation because you were talking about this $80K. I can't remember what I started with as my annual salary, but for some reason I remember I was just hitting 85, and that was in 2013. And I remember that specifically because I moved from Virginia to Alabama, and they were going to try to talk me down to like 83 or something. I said, nope, I won't do it until,
Right.
like 2000 was going to make a whole difference. But it was the mindset thing. But at that time, it was an increase because the cost of living was cheaper still
right, yeah.
in Alabama. But I've been out for like several years, and, just to get to that amount in 2013.
Right.
And to think now, when I see some of the salaries, because, I still get calls from travel companies and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to pay starting salary of like 85. And I'm like, this is what I was making in 2013. So why would you think a new grad that's coming out with what they have to pay now for school, which is sometimes probably maybe about 2 to 3 times what I paid, they can't make it.
Right.
So that's why a lot of them go into traveling, because they can get a little bit more money, but they're still under the water with it.
Right.
So
I think we have to really just understand that the math doesn't math.
yeah, the math ain't math.
The math ain't mathin'. And that's why so many of us are feeling like we're forced. We're forced to do things that we thought we wouldn't do.
Yes.
So I see two glaring issues here. You've been a therapist since 1995, okay? So if you're talking about, all right, over the next 20 years, so from 95 to 2005, 2005 to 2015, okay, we're not even talking about the last 10 years. It's talking about the 20 years since you've been coming out of school, that you can go from, I don't know what you started at, but you're going to 85, and right now, like, there's just very little to no increases.
Right.
Okay. So we have that issue.
Right.
Maybe you didn't come out with insurmountable, ridiculous debt, but you're still not ascending.
No.
Because you can't, because we're being paid via third party payers, and they're not trying to increase their expenses, right?
They're always trying to cut.
They're trying to cut.
And usually their cuts are coming through what they're trying to, reimburse for our services.
Right.
But,
So that's one issue. So you have the issue for the OGs,
right.
but then you got the issue for the young bucks.
Yeah.
Because the young bucks are coming out of school and they're spending $100, $150, $200, $250,000 to get the same degree that you got and I got.
Right.
Right. To basically treat the same people.
Pretty
So
much.
whether it's you have a bachelor's like me, you got a master's, you got a doctorate, either way, we're all treating the same people, and there's no CPT code for DPT.
Nope.
There's no CPT code for NSPT.
Nope.
There's no CPT code for BSPT.
Nope.
It's just a code. Right, that's it.
97110.
That's 7110.
Therex.
All day, baby. That's it. So because of that, it's again, the math just ain't mathing, right? Okay. So seeing that, I'm assuming that had something to do with what you have really put a lot of effort in over the last few years, and that is to go into diving into entrepreneurship and saying, hey, you know what? All right, I have to change some stuff. Can we talk about what spurred you to say, hey, you know what? I know I've been doing this for 30 years, but I've got to do something different here.
Yeah. As you were sitting here talking about that, I was thinking about when I first kind of jumped into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And I've cut my teeth on so many things, from phone cards to washing machine rings to you name it. But what got me started is I needed more money. I wanted to travel more and have, freedom to do what I want when I want. And not really at that time looking to or thinking really to work for myself, because I really love what I, did, and I still do, helping patients and, their families. But again, the math wasn't mathing. And then it just got to be, you have to do more with less, especially after the balanced budget and all the insurance-ish. And it's just like, so, I'm looking at how can I increase my income without doing more PT stuff, which I did that too. So at one point in my career, I was working about 70 or 80 hours a week. I had I was like nuts, work a full-time job and then, side hustling with more PRN stuff on the, the evenings, weekends. So that didn't last long because I ended up getting sick. But yeah, I just started looking at different opportunities, and probably the one that has served me the longest, that I did the longest, was Mary Kay. And I got into it because I had a makeup habit. I loved makeup back then, and eyeshadow and all that jazz. And so I joined just to afford my own habit. But then I got to be really good at it. And I learned a lot of principles in that company that I still use and incorporate today on how to talk to people, listening to people, the importance of making that other person feel special.
Right.
And, and just service. And then it just helped me to work on my confidence, because I was very shy, very introverted, didn't like to really talk to people, and still have a challenge with that sometimes. But so, yeah, that just kind of was always in the back of my head. And then I had another one of my classmates, when I was on to another company doing something else after I left Mary Kay. She made the comment, why isn't she just happy being a PT? And I was so offended by that. I still get triggered by it. I'm just like, but here she is over here doing her extra step, becoming a doctor or blah, 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 and whatever else. But to suggest that I should be happy just being a PT, which is nothing wrong with that.
Right.
If it could afford me the lifestyle and the freedom that I want without killing myself.
Right.
And so that always stuck in the back of my mind. It still does. And now with the way things are with the economy and everything, and people are just leaving healthcare because they're burnt out, they're tired. I can't keep doing the same thing that I always did and get different results.
Right.
That's insanity.
That is insanity.
And I've been insane,
Right.
for a while. And so I'm like, no, I got to do something different. I mean, I still want to serve my people, but there's got to be another way.
There's got to be a better way. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So do you know that we have a few things in common? I started my clinic in 2005, right? But I think one of the biggest game changers for me was 2013. In 2013, I got introduced to Beachbody through a classmate, a physical therapy classmate. She was the president of our Student Body Association for Physical Therapy at FIU. I was the vice president.
Okay.
We still, kept in touch, but she reached out to me because Beachbody is a lot like Mary Kay, at least back then it was, right? Okay. Awesome product. Most people are basically coaches or distributors because they're addicted to the product, right? Okay, all right. So we were addicted to shakes, you were addicted to makeup. Okay, great. But during that time, and then I ended up getting addicted to the product because I wasn't well physically. So I started using their nutritional stuff and it helped me a lot. And then she was like, you need to become a coach. You're sending all these people to me and I'm making so much money.
Yeah.
But you know so many people and you talk a lot about what's going on with you and all these people are coming to me. Why don't you just become a coach? So I was like, look, I don't need this, whatever. I said, all right, okay, fine. I'll become a coach. So I did. And I started to get into it because I'm like, this thing is paying for my product. It's paying for my product. Yeah. And I decided to kind of start with it. And even though I was technically an entrepreneur in my clinics, I learned so much during that time. I saw so many people that, based on what the world says, are not qualified, helping so much more people than I was helping. So much more people. And I know you saw that in Mary Kay too.
All the time.
Okay. And so I bring it back because it was such an aha. Not only did I see the focus on personal development, the focus on building and enhancing your skill sets, which I'm sure Mary Kay Beachbody had that as well. But I think also it was just seeing people that, according to the world, according to your classmate, that says, why aren't you just happy being what you are? And that they're so I don't want to say addicted, but they're so their identity is in their title. Right. That don't change your title because that's our identity. So you should just be happy with this identity. And I saw so many more people that didn't have that identity that were helping so much more people. And it made me really start to question things. So it's very similar to you. And then, obviously I was in a different situation because I had my clinics, but it really did allow me to take it to the next level with my clinics and with my other businesses. And then to start this. Because it really just said to me, you know what? There's so much more that so many people can do that they feel they're limited by because of what title they have or what they don't have. And then now it's like, I feel like I was doing it kind of as a hobby. Now I don't think there's a choice because the world has changed. Inflation is absolutely ridiculous. Cost of living is nuts. My daughter's apartment at college costs more than my first house per month.
And it's probably not even 500 square feet. Well, it could be.
But... No, it ain't. It ain't no 500 square feet. You're lucky if it's 300 square feet. And she's sharing the living space with another roommate. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is more than my first home that I bought in early 2000. 2003 is when I bought that home.
Yeah.
I'm like, how the hell are people supposed to live unless we do like what you're doing, which is saying, hey, listen, there's apparently, I believe that I'm enough. Some days I don't, but I believe
right.
I've seen other people that definitely don't have it like me that are doing more. So, okay, so what is it? And today I just don't feel like we really have a choice. You hear me talk a lot about the eras of wealth, right? Like in the beginning, I personally think we're going through a bell-shaped curve.
Yes, we are.
Okay,
we are.
So y'all follow me as you listen to this. You know how we started off to where, we talk about the agricultural age, right?
Yeah.
From the beginning of time to the 1700s, right? And you got this agricultural age, and we are not us, because like we're slaves.
By choice, yeah, right.
It wasn't by choice.
Yeah,
but
right.
we, the people that were making money were able to sell their product, right? They had land, and they were able to sell their product to other people.
Yes.
And then things change, right? So it started here, and then we go to industrial, and then we go to distribution.
Yes.
And then after that, here's what I believe is happening. What I believe is happening now is we have we changed the curve, probably maybe about 10, not maybe more than 10 years ago. But it went distribution, and then now it's on the bottom of the curve again. And that's technology,
Yes.
information, education, partnerships. And now guess what? I think we're going right back into, not agriculture, but I believe we're going back into everybody is now the small business owner. That's what I believe is happening. If you think about it with the agriculture,
Yes.
if you're the Harris family can sell apples to the Jones family,
Right.
right?
Right.
Okay. Do you not see that? Corporate America, I'm talking especially for us as healthcare, it's like you can't work for it that long anymore. It's just too expensive.
Right.
So it's like everybody's now trying to create their solo businesses, whether it's solo practice or solo online business. And now we're saying, hey, we can just sell to other people. The difference is we don't have to sell just apples anymore.
Right.
Now we have tech. Now we have information. Now we have info edutainment. We have partnerships. And so we're starting the whole curve over again with all this ammo.
Right.
And I really believe that's what's happening. I believe that's what's happening. I believe that's why you feel empowered that, oh, I can do this. You want to know why? Because we actually can.
Yeah.
You can in today's world. So here's what I would ask you. What would you tell someone that has been doing what they've been doing for about 25 plus years? There's a lot of people listening right now that that's the case. They want to do something different. They're scared. But the math ain't mathing anymore. They're tired. They're working a lot of hours, and it's hard for their body to keep up. And they know they need to change. What would you tell them?
I would definitely say you need to surround yourself with people, like-minded people that can help you see your possibilities. Because sometimes you can't get outside of your own head and you can't see what's outside of your own backyard. So if you're in that boat like I was, and sometimes still am, can't see the forest for the trees, surround yourself by people who are visionary, that can see potential for you, because sometimes they can see more in you than you can see in yourself. The other piece I would add, if you, like most of us have, we worked hard to get into PT school or into all these health professions, and we work equally as hard, if not harder, to get out of them, to graduate and all that. So if you can do that and survive that, then you most definitely can take a chance on yourself.
Right.
Because, when you're working for someone else, you're taking a chance every day for that person. You're building their hopes, you're building their dreams, their futures, their incomes. And you're getting a check, but you're only getting a piece of what you're helping the corporation to make. If we could take that same energy, or even a portion of it, and start to invest it into ourselves, what are the possibilities like? The possibilities are endless. We are created to be more than just somebody's employee. Not that there's anything wrong with that if that's what you enjoy doing and you love it, beautiful. Because, everybody needs somebody to help them and work for them, that kind of thing. So we're going to always need employees and workers. But if you're a person that feels like, well, I can be more than just an employee. Why can't I be the employer?
Right.
That's a different mindset.
All different.
And like you said, it does take work and work hard. But if you're working hard for someone else, why not work hard for yourself? So you can make a difference in your life and the people that you love or care about. So that's what I would say. Definitely surround yourself by positive people, people that, are visionary, that can, see potential, definitely, just take a chance on yourself. What's the worst could happen?
Right.
What's the best that could happen?
Is the downside a lot smaller than the upside? If that is yes for you, then go for it. And that's how I look at it. It's so interesting that you said all of those different things. I think there's a couple of things that I want to just kind of hit on. I think all of us just have to decide: do we want to be leveraged or do we want to have the leverage?
Wow.
When you are working for someone, you're being leveraged, and again, that's fine if that's what you want to do.
Right.
But if you feel like, you know what, I like the comfort in working for someone, but I don't like the discomfort that I'm feeling because I am working for someone, and the discomfort that I'm feeling with my compensation package, with this, with that. But then hey, you've got to look at other options, right? I think that's a huge thing. I also will say this: you just mentioned this, and this is something that I've told people many times. The hardest thing I've ever done was go through PT school.
Lord, say that again.
I am going to say it again. The hardest thing I've ever done, and I've owned multiple businesses. I've dealt with thousands of customers, thousands of highs, lows, this, that. There is nothing harder. I'm talking physically and just more challenging than actually getting through physical therapy school. There's been no day in business. And I always say to people, I just believe the reason why most people don't make it in business is they just don't allot the energy to it. When you're in PT school, you put so much of your energy and effort because it was so hard to get in.
Yes.
It was an investment. I mean, the investment might not seem like a lot today, but then I was like a lot, right?
Right.
And it was so difficult to get in. Can I say that again? It was so difficult to get in.
Yes.
That you're like, listen, I gotta get out of this thing.
Yeah.
I have to find a way. So you put all your energy into getting it done. Could you imagine if you put that energy into building your business? Are you kidding me right now?
I could be retired. I would be retired.
Good, great.
Lord have mercy. Yes.
So, it's funny because Jeanette right now, she's here for an event that I'm hosting. And I shared with the group yesterday, I shared, there's three different things that people got to look at. I know I talk about the opportunities, right? Level 1 opportunity, which is what, if you're an employee and you're trading time for money and you're not in control of your pay, you're working at level 1, right?
Right.
Okay. Versus level 10 opportunity where I'm in full control of my pay. I'm in control of who I serve. I can serve people one to many, and I could serve people regardless of where they're at location-wise.
Right.
And regardless of where I'm at location-wise, right? Like that's like level 10, right? And there's no cap to the amount of people that I can serve. All right. So the thing is that we put all of our energy and we have focused so much of our years of skill set to become proficient in level 1 opportunities. So it's like how much better can you get?
Yes.
Like how much better can you get? You're 30 years in the game. Okay, so it's like how much better can you get? What another 30 years is going to change at all? It really doesn't matter because you're in a level 1 opportunity. Again, I'm not saying it doesn't matter. It matters to your patients. Of course, that matters. But I'm talking about putting food on the table.
Right.
I'm talking about being able to have a life to where you can vacation and you can do this and you're not thinking about money all the time, right? To me, that's a certain level of bondage and slavery I don't want to deal with. I don't want to be thinking about that all the time.
Right.
Okay. I just want to be free and serving and just serve, and I don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, it's 3:33. Oh my gosh, I'm like, no, I don't even want to think about that. It's when do I want to serve? How do I want to serve you? That's
Exactly.
it. Okay. So I say that because if you're not in a high level opportunity, it doesn't matter how much energy you put. It doesn't matter. It's a low level opportunity. Conversely now, you now have a new opportunity, a level 5, a level 7, a level 10 opportunity. If it doesn't matter how good the opportunity is, if you put no effort into it, and no effort means that the skill set can't get better. The skill set can't get better, and there's very little effort. It's a level 10 opportunity. It will never get off the ground. You see what I'm saying? I think this is really important for all of you to understand. And Jeanette really hit it hard with this. She said, if I could do these other things, why can't I do this? And if you can just give the same level of intention to those things that had a very, very distinct cap on it, that you give to this thing over here that has no cap, some downside, but very little downside, your whole life can change. Your whole life can change.
Yeah. Well, I know now a lot of it is the conditioning,
Right.
That we had or I had back then. And there's a lot of still the conditioning around. Oh, you're going to be a doctor, a PT, or a doctor this and doctor that, and you get to see so many people. And yeah, you get to see so many people because there's only so many hours in the day, but there's still a lot of money left at the end of your month that's not taking care of all your needs. And again, you can go for extra certifications and extra training, but you're still limited on how many people you can serve, the way you can serve them, the cap and everything. So, because I thought about that. I thought about going back to school and, getting my doctorate. And then I always would ask the question, and I would talk to people about, is it going to move my decimal point in the right direction?
Yeah.
And they was like, well, you could go into research. And I don't like the research. Or you could da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then finally, one of my directors, she finally, she just came clean. She said, not really. She was honest about it. She said, you would do better if you want to spend the money, maybe get more, of course, she thought certifications, in advance, the, orthopedic specialist or whatever, da-da-da. But she said at the end of the day, it's not going to really move your decimal point in the right direction. I said, well, I ain't going to spend that money.
Yeah, then I'm not going to do it. Yeah.
I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. And I think if people just understood that, and that's even a decision that I had to make. It's like, all right, if I go back and get a doctorate, again, back then, it was going to be a lot less than it is now. But even today, if you go back and you say, hey, I'm going to spend $50,000, okay, anywhere between 50 to 100, we'll get it today if it's a transitional program. Right, so 50 to 100K. I'm thinking of what, and by the way, I'm not saying not to spend the money. I'm just saying to allocate the money to something else. So I think you either allocate the money to learning a set of skills and being around groups of people. That's one way. I think you allocate the money to learning a skill set or building an asset. Yeah, that's another thing.
Right.
Preferably, you're doing all of them all together.
Yes.
Right. Okay. I'm around certain people. I'm learning a new skill set. And I'm building an asset all at the same time, right?
Right.
So if somebody said to me, Greg, I you know what? I'm willing to invest 50K, okay? Or let's say 75K, okay? I could either A, go back and get my DPT, a transitional DPT. Number two, I can go and I can maybe go into real estate or put money into the stock market, crypto, et cetera, or I can go and I can start a business and learn a skill set that it takes to build a business. I would tell them in this order, do number 3 first. I think number 2 would be your next option. Number 1 would be my last option. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Because a business, at least for me, business it can be risky, but business has been the highest return on investment asset I've ever built because I believe I'm serving God's children.
Right.
I'm serving more children with option number 2, which is real estate. Okay?
Yeah.
So, and I feel like it's a much easier entry into the game. Whereas a real estate, at least what I've realized now, is it's a much higher level of entry into the game.
Yes.
Right? So at least maybe the real estate I'm doing, I don't know, maybe there's some out there you can get 2,005. I just don't know of it. Okay? But to me, that's what just makes the most sense. And it really still comes down to you could serve more of God's children.
Right.
That's really what it is. And which one can you do? And in option 3, a transitional DPT, you can't really serve any more people.
You only have so many hands and
only have so many hands and so
many hours in a day.
So many hours in a day. You're using 2 limited resources, time and your body. That's it.
Yeah. And they're both running out.
and they're both running out.
Yeah.
Father Tom is undefeated.
Yes.
Father Tom is undefeated. Well, thank you.
Thank you. This
You know,
has been awesome.
Yeah, this has been fun, and I knew we were gonna have a good conversation. And I just think it's important. Maybe this was an awareness episode.
Mhm.
You know, it's like, guys, I think you hear. I mean, I know I'm a little wacky, but you know, Jeanette's fairly logical. You guys heard at least some logical person. Just like, look, she loves what she does. She loves what she does as a PT. She loves working with people. And honestly, I think if it was serving all your needs, I think you would do this until you couldn't do it anymore. And I think you're going to continue to do it in whatever capacity you can.
Right.
But I think there is something that is not happening for us that we all thought was going to happen. And I think you just focusing on your clinical expertise and serving people, unfortunately, won't get us to the promised land that we were all sold on. And I want everybody to understand that. I want everybody to get that. And not everybody that is an entrepreneur grew up an entrepreneur and was out there, you know, had on their, you know, was their mini Elon Musk or Steve Jobs or that wasn't me. I didn't want any part of this crap. But I don't think I really had a choice because at the end of the day, my identity is not in being a physical therapist. Okay. I want to live a good life. I want to live a good life. I want to enjoy what I do. I want to enjoy who I do it with. But then I don't also want to do it all day either. I want to enjoy life.
Right.
There's a lot to life. And I want to explore this beautiful world. And I want to do beautiful things. I want to do it with beautiful people. And I don't feel like I need to work all day, all night. So I got to find the best way to do that. And I think you're figuring that out too.
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
So
Time freedom. That's what it's about.
time freedom. So anyways, thank you for being on the podcast. I appreciate you. Where can people find out more about you if they want to follow you?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram. On Instagram at Stronger by Design PT.
Okay.
And then my Facebook group is Menopausal Women Overcoming Weight Loss and
Okay.
all of that. The name may change, but yeah, just look for me on Facebook.
Okay. Okay, we will. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring you back for another episode. All right? I'm going to show another episode, get a nice update, see where you're at. We'll take it from there.
I'm looking
All right?
forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeanette. Appreciate you.